You guys, there's something that I really have been wanting to get off my chest for a while since I've started this channel, and like it's been weighing really heavy on like my mind and my heart, and I couldn't, really find a way. I didn't know a way to say it. And I still am not sure if I know how to say it, but I'm gay. And that's it. I don't know if Aaron wants to share how he feels, but I just had to get it out. Let's go see how he feels. Hey, are you ready to come out?
Hey, what's the
What's
up?
That was a little much.
Just hope
Let's wrap it up.
Came out.
Okay. Alright. I'll probably look a hot mess because I've been looking a hot mess lately. Lately, we just been trying to get these videos out, and I've just been like, fuck yeah, I'm coming out here however I look. So,
Sam.
hey, what's up? Welcome back. We
Yo, what's good, guys?
Yeah, all of that.
Like we promised, the girls is back.
Alright, we're just gonna jump straight into it. We've been meaning to film this video for a while, for obvious reasons, or many reasons. We were supposed to film this like last year. Remember? That was like, this was gonna be one of our first, no, this was gonna be like one of our third or fourth videos I think we wanted to film. And then recently we wanted to film it for National Coming Out Day. But you know what we give.
We vlogged.
Yeah. But like we said in the end of our last video, if y'all want us to make more videos, share, subscribe, notification.
Notification game. We saw y'all last time.
Give us a reason to do more. Like we're doing this for y'all. Like, come on, the bell. Alright, so we're gonna just jump straight into it. Okay, so it was a breezy summer night back in '97, and
Dragging it.
no. I came out when I was like 16. 16? I think I was like 16 or 15. 16, I think I was though. To just make a long story short, like I think I knew I was gay since I was like probably in the 3rd grade or some shit. I don't remember how was I in 3rd grade? 8?
Yeah, that's when I knew.
3rd grade was 8 years old?
Yeah.
Okay. So I knew when I was like probably 2nd grade, 3rd grade.
Okay.
I knew because in kindergarten I had a little girlfriend, but it was just a kiki. And then my mother doesn't even know about this. And then there was a boy in 3rd grade. That like we used to have a crush on each other. It was like a key. So being Black or Hispanic, more than likely, if you're a male and in your household, if your father is around, or even if your father isn't around, if you have uncles, cousins, whatever, even the women, that's the gag.
Right.
Growing up and being Black or brown or whatever, Hispanic, in your household, most likely they have, it's always like a specific template of how you should grow up based on your gender. So if you're a boy, you should only play with toys and cars and trucks and play sports and do X, Y, and Z. And if you show any type of femininity, it's shunned upon and you'll be scolded, you'll get in trouble for just whatever, just for being a kid. And if you're a girl, you should play with Barbies and do this, that, and the third, so on and so forth. So that's what it's like for a majority of kids growing up in that kind of household. And that's kind of how I grew up. No, it's no offense to my parents because I love both of them. But it's just something that I guess maybe have trickled down. But that's how I grew up. My father was a macho man. He was very hyper masculine. He made me play almost every sport I could think of: basketball, baseball, everything. He was at my basketball tryouts when I didn't even want to be there, like going off. And then the coach didn't let me get on the team at first, and he had to black on the coach, like, no, my son needs to play basketball. I think low-key deep down inside, he's like, he needs to play, thinking like he needs to not be feminine.
He was looking at the coach like, yo, he need to play.
Right. But anyway, so that's the kind of household I grew in. So growing up like that, like, and knowing in the back of my mind, like, there was some feelings that I was feeling that I didn't know what they were, and I wanted to play with my sister and do certain things. Growing up in that household and having those things in the back of my mind, it was just making me think, like, I can't say anything. I gotta keep this a secret. I gotta act super masculine because I'm gonna get in trouble, I'm gonna get beat or something, whatever the case may be. So I held it in for a long time, like most kids do. Now, the negative part to this, the bad part to that is some kids who grow up in that household, they don't have the mental strength to really hold on to that and go through maybe the verbal abuse of being different. So a lot of LGBTQ plus youth commit suicide because they don't have the strength to, like, you know, really like push it through. I'm fortunate enough to have made it to the other side and to have pushed through, and then, you know, so I'm happy for that. So that was like my unpacking.
Right.
So I came out after my parents split up. So when my parents split up, they split up, and then my mom moved, and then my dad moved. Same state, probably like same town, just different houses. So I was living with my mom. So once I was living with my mom, I knew my mom was always like very nurturing, and I could trust her. So like now that I was like away from my dad, I'm like, okay, this is the right time, because like I could come out to my mom and my dad won't know, and I can't get in trouble, and I'm not gonna get my ass beat because I'm at mommy's house. So one day, so while I was living with my mom, I was like, so that's when social media started becoming a thing. Twitter was a thing, AIM, MySpace, all of that. So I would just always be on the web, and then like I stumbled across voguing videos, and I gagged. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, bitch. Bitch, this is fab. So once I saw that, I started getting curious. I already knew by then I was gay, and I just felt like, okay, like this is the right time. Like I need to tell my mom, like I'm starting to feel like this is me. I'm starting to come into me, like, you know what I'm saying? So my mom was at work. I called her phone, and I'm like,
yo, mom.
Hey mom, what are you doing? She's like, if whoever knows my mother, she'll be like, what? I'm doing this. What happened? So she's like, I'm on my way home. Like, what happened? I'm gonna wait till you get home so I can tell you. And she's like, no, why do you guys, she thought like my brother was hurt or something, like she was freaking out. She was like, no, tell me now, what is it? I hate when y'all do that. So I'm like, all right. And then I didn't know how to say the words because it was like scary even thinking of saying it out loud. The crazy part is, actually before that, I told my aunt, my Titi Lisi, I called her and told her, because she always knew, and she's like, I could always trust her. And before I told my mom, I told my Titi Lisi, I'm like, I want to tell my mom, but I don't know how to tell her. Like, what should I do? And she told me, she's like, you know, maybe if you don't know how to say it out loud in person, maybe try over the phone. If you can't do it over the phone, maybe write her a letter, like whatever you feel you're most comfortable with. And then she told me, she's like, and if she doesn't accept it or your dad doesn't accept you, then forget them. Like, this is who you are, and you should be accepted for who you are. So, back to the conversation. So then I'm on the phone, and she's telling me to tell her. My mom is telling me to tell her what's going on. And I'm like, well, you know our cousin, and I have like my cousin who is gay. He's been out for years. Everybody knows him. So I'm like, you know our cousin, such and such. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, I'm like him. And she's like, well, what do you mean? And my mom is like, she's a key. Like, it's be direct or I don't want hints. Like, talk to me. So I'm like him. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, Mom, you know what he is? Like, she's like, yeah. I'm like, well, so am I. I was like, and then I think a lot of people are guilty of doing this when they first come out. So I'm like, I'm bi.
Oh, same.
I'm like, I like boys and girls. That way it's like, I'm hurting you a little bit, but there's still hope. And that's the fucked up mentality you have. You gotta like please, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. So, and then I was thinking about it, and I'm like, no, I'm gay. Like, I'm gay. I was like, I'm gay, and I didn't know how to tell you, and I was scared, and I was nervous, and it's just been eating me up, and I've been sad, and yada yada, and you know, I'm still gonna be me. Like, don't think I'm just gonna completely change to a whole different person. I'm still gonna be me. And then she starts preaching about like God and stuff. So she's like, well, I think God makes everybody a certain way for a certain reason, and maybe he made you this way for a reason, or whatever the case may be. And God still loves you, and you're my son, and I still love you no matter what. And yeah, and I was gagging. Because like when you wait for so long to say something like that, you know, it's like, okay, what's gonna happen? So when she said that, I was just like, wow, like, oh my God. So then she came home, and we didn't really talk about it. We never talked. We didn't. She came home, and it was like a regular day. I didn't bring it up. I didn't start acting differently. I was still the same. We never talked about it. Oh, and before we got off the phone, she's like, okay, well, maybe we shouldn't tell your dad just yet because you know how he is. And everybody in my family knows how my dad is. So I'm like, all right. So me and my mom never talked about it again for years, like literally, that's the key. So then, fast forward 6 years, we kept it from my dad for 6 years.
That's a lifespan.
Yeah. In between those 6 years, I joined the ballroom scene. I started voguing. I was living my life open and just out there. And somehow he did not find out. I don't know how. He did not find out. So as I was like living my life and just being open and just being me, like I started coming to my own and started feeling like, you know, this is me, like fuck it, like that's who I am, like whatever. And then I had a conversation with my cousin one day, and he's like, Chris, does your dad still not know? And I'm like, no. He's like, well, I think you should tell him. I'm like, why? He's like, well, your dad is like, he's a street dude, so I'm sure he would rather hear it from you than hear it from somebody on the street. And I'm like,
that's a fact.
That makes a good point. So I will never forget, it was like 2 days before New Year's Eve. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna tell him. So I text him. Because my mom I could do on the phone. My dad, I can't hear his voice on the phone. I would at that point I would have been scared. So I text him, and I'm like, hey, I have to tell you something. And he's like, what's up? And I was like, you know, I've been wanting to tell you for a long time, but I didn't know how you were going to take it. I didn't know if you were going to be disappointed or not speak to me anymore, yada, yada. And I told him I was gay. And he said the same thing my mom said. He said, well, you're my son, and I'm going to love you regardless, and just be who you are. You know, just be safe. That's what he said to me. And then that was it. And then when I went to go visit him like a few months later, it was me, him, and my sister in the living room watching movies. And my sister got a phone call, and she stepped out the room. So I'm thinking the conversation we had through text, like that was it, like you know already. So my sister steps out the room to pick up the call, and he starts talking to me about it. I'm like, what? He's like, so yeah, I forgot how he brought it up. But he just started talking about sex and how to use protection, and if anybody disrespects me, let him know because he'll come and handle it. I'm like, all right, Dad. But like, I felt like coming out to him was like him treating me like, you know how fathers act with their daughters, like, if you're gonna get a guy, like, I gotta meet him. Yeah. And like, yeah, like, it was given that. But ever since then, like, everything has been amazing. Like, my mom and I got closer. She met Aaron.
Hey, Ma.
My dad spoke to Aaron. Are you still in the frame? Oh. My dad spoke to Aaron. Remember what he said to you? About me coming out? He was like, he a tough guy.
Facts. He was like, if he could come out to me, then he could do anything. Because I'm like, what? Like, I'm really from the streets. Like, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, well, that was, yeah. So that was that. And it was rough because I used to get called a lot of not nice words, which made me even more scared to come out. So, but I did it, and that's it. That was all about me, and that was years ago, honey. But now Aaron's might be a little different, I think. Oh, his is more juicy. Like I've heard like people's stories, and I'm just like, bitch, I'm glad that it happened to me because I don't know how I would have handled it. Like,
all right, so my coming out was like in parts and pieces and parts. So so in school I was already out. Like I was out since like 8th grade.
How old was this?
13.
Okay.
Well, when I was in 8th grade, I was bisexual. I had a crush on this boy. I told him, and then he stopped being my friend. So once that happened in 8th grade, I'm like, bitch, I'm about to go to high school and not tell nobody. But then like 2 months in, I already told somebody. So from like...
He was like, bitch, I'm here.
Yeah, so from
freshman.
Like, freshman year, I was out. I was one of the girls in graphics. If y'all know about graphics, y'all know about graphics. Now, family was a different issue. So I came out to my little brother first. Shout out to Andre. I came out, I came out to him 2013. And I came out right after Thanksgiving because I used to go to Howard. And I came home for Thanksgiving.
Yes, HBCU.
Feel me? So I came home for Thanksgiving and I'm like, wow, like I really love my family. Like, so I came home and I'm like, damn, I need to start, I need to let my family know what's the tea because it's like, it's 2013, girl. Like, back then.
You was getting very much, bitch, I'm in Howard. What the fuck they gonna say?
Right. So I was away at school and it was like, it felt a lot easier because like, I felt grown and I felt like, I've accomplished something great in life. So let me just, what more do you want from me? So I told my little brother, I'm like, yo, bro, like, I really gotta tell you something. And he's like, what? I'm like, it's a big thing. Like, you really can't say nothing. And he's like, just tell me. I'm like, oh, I'm gay. He's like, wow. So all the fights I was getting to in school, trying to defend you, saying that you wasn't gay, you was really gay all the time.
That's Chaz. That's like my sister.
I'm like, well, nobody was telling you to fight. So, long story short, he was just like, I really love you and thank you for telling me first. Like, I'm really excited. If you need help telling mom anything, let me know. Boom, boom, boom. So, Thanksgiving is like usually around the 22nd of November. So, because this is how quick it happened. So, I was like, all right. At the time, I had a boyfriend. So, I deleted and I had 2 Facebook pages.
I don't think I knew this.
Yeah, I had 2 Facebook pages. And I had like, when you in the closet and you got a Facebook for your friends, but you got a Facebook for your family.
Or you block your family on your other.
Yeah, so I had one for the friends and one for the family. The one for the friends had mine and his last name on it. And I had unblocked her.
What's mine and his?
My last name and my ex's last name.
Oh, you took his last name on your Facebook?
Yeah, we both.
Yo.
Yeah, it was the thing. So, I had deleted the family Facebook, and I was gonna make the friends one like my one and only Facebook. So I was planning to come out to my mother before Christmas, I was gonna come home for break. You get out of school early. I was gonna tell her before Christmas. So I deleted the family Facebook and I unblocked everybody, like all my family, because I was ready to tell her. So it's like December 3rd.
I'm sure you would have thought that, because I would have been like, bitch, I'm gonna wait till the day of and then unblock.
Yeah, see, I wasn't that smart.
Yeah,
So, it's December 3rd, and I get a call from her, and I'm thinking it's like my daily call, because I'm at school. So I get a call from her, I'm like, hello? She's like, so you think I'm dumb? And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, you really think I'm dumb? And you put it on Facebook? And I gagged, because I was like, damn, she found out. Because there was there was nothing I had posted on Facebook besides that. So I'm like, okay, so yeah, like, but what are you talking about? She's like, you have your last name and this boy's last name. Like, what do you, like, I'm not dumb. Like, I put the pieces together. I'm like, all right, like, what are you mad about? Like, I'm gay. And so for her, she wasn't mad that I was gay. She was just mad at
that she had to find out.
That she found out, and that she found out on Facebook versus me telling her. And then we got into this whole big thing about, like, well, I was gonna tell you anyway. And she's like, all right, but mad people know. Like, you rather tell your whole school than tell me, like, and I'm the person that brought you up. So it was just like this big thing. But like Chris, I grew up in a home with a masculine dad, and like he said, the template that they felt I should have fit in. So I played football, I tried to play basketball, I played baseball, I was in karate. So basically, like, I went through those same things. And
I did Taekwondo too.
yeah. So I feel like I didn't feel like I could come to her until that point in my life where I was already planning on doing it, which kind of got me tight because, like what you just said, I should have just waited and then did it. But like, I was really hyped to tell everybody, like, yo, I'm like, yo, bitch, I'm about to just come out and everybody's just gonna have to deal with it. And
whoever don't, we can fight.
Right. So I ended up coming home like 2 weeks later because school was done, and then I came home and we didn't speak for like 2 weeks, right? So then she just like walked past me one day like, so you think you're just gonna live in my house and not speak? Like,
if you know his mother.
So she's like, I'm really about to not be cooking for you and all this stuff, and you're not gonna speak. And I'm like, okay, like, so I guess we can speak. And then we spoke about it, and there was like a lot of other underlying issues that me and her had. So we actually went to therapy together, which I feel like a lot of people don't speak about. So we actually went to therapy together for like a few months, and then after that, like, we came to this understanding. And it was very beneficial because now that's my best friend. That's really my sis. Like,
he comes home from work, from a long 12 hours or whatever, how long he worked. He comes in the door on the phone, chatting. He's on the phone with his mother. So yeah, yada yada yada. And they would already be having the conversation like on his commute home.
Facts.
So then, as soon as he gets home, then I join in the conversation, and then she's talking to both of us, and she's like, all right, I love you guys.
Yeah, so we definitely came a long way, and it's only been 5 years, but literally I love her down, and she has taken the steps to grow and like learn about the LGBT community, things to say, things not to say.
She's come to events, to support.
Yeah, so she definitely impressed me, no shade. Like, I wasn't expecting the type of response afterwards that, like, I never expected that we would be as close as we are.
Yeah, same with my mom. Like, when we got engaged, she bought us an engagement gift. And I remember at one point, like, when I first came out, she said something to me, like, she just don't want to see, like, me kissing no boys or having no boys around. And that has completely changed because she comments on all our pictures together and stuff. And yeah.
So my dad was very short and to the point. Basically, like, one day we was in his car, we was bumping music, and, you know, whenever you pass me the aux, Nicki's playing. So we was just in the car bumping music, and then we got to my house, and then he's like, he looks at me just like this, he's like, you know I love you, right? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, no matter who you love or what you do, I will always love you. And I'm like,
That's cute.
oh, okay. He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, well, thank you for reassuring me that you love me. And
That's
then
beautiful.
It was like very unspoken. Like, he just told me like, I love you no matter what. And then that was it.
Yeah. Well, child, that's just that. I mean, this video could go on longer, like, trying to like talk about why do we even have to come out in the first place? Why can't people just be themselves and be accepted for themselves? But that is like so much to unpack right now. Unpack is the word of the day.
Unpack is the word. Hashtag unpack.
So that's a whole lot in itself. So we're just gonna leave that where that is, and don't pressure people to come out. Don't come out for people.
Facts. Don't come out for people.
Let them tell their own stories and live in their own truth, and just leave it as it is. Accept people for who they are. Love is love.
Love each other.
Love.
Stop out in the girls. Hashtag stop out in the girls.
All right. Oh, you see, we got our Christmas tree in the back.
She's not fully up.
Right. She don't got her ornaments, and she don't got her star.
She a little naked.
And her highlighter and her dazzles and stuff, but she's coming together.
You're gonna see her pull up in the next video.
Christmas coming up. We're gonna decorate. We're gonna have everything in here. So, thank you for watching. We got a little personal and intimate with you guys. And before we leave,
Like, subscribe, follow, subscribe. subscribe, notification gang, subscribe, notification gang, subscribe, gang.
All right. Well, thank you guys.
Bye, me.